I was going to open this up for just anybody to come talk, and this gentleman in the green hat said he had something to say. His name is, hold on, I got it, Chuck D. And we would like to thank him for making this journey specifically to help us emphasize the importance of independent media and the importance of paying attention to the corporatization of America.
Yeah.
Hello? Hola. First of all, I'd like to say, you don't have to thank me for coming here to speak on something that's so necessary against what's going on, not only in America, but across the world. I never thought I'd see a time where the masses would clamor for Big Brother. And this sense of roboticism coming through the airwaves is just blasphemous to human existence.
Yeah.
See, corporations, they're in business not to make friends with people or not to make people even better people. They're in business to turn people solely into consumers. And so therefore we can't get sidetracked into thinking that quantity is the thing or the rule that we have to live by us being the best people that we can be. I think there's always an issue of quality that we should keep in our minds and our souls. The gathering here today, don't look at how many people it could have been, how many people should have been here. Let's look at the quality of the issue and the quality inside of the people that are standing here today. When I hear the messages from the great speakers before me, being able to say, hey, look, right to the FCC. They're not this amoeba, this organism that's in the sky that's intangible. They're made up of people that basically have jobs that sit there that are getting further and further apart from human interaction. And myself and my girlfriend, Gay, when we was actually driving in town, it was almost like a throwback in my mind of when I was driving throughout the United States in my younger days, and really relishing the time I would listen to the changing signals as I drove from state to state and listening to the locality of the broadcasters, whether it was just music, whether it was sports, whether it was just plain talk. It's what I clamored for when I actually drove. And I said, wow, this is what this area is about. And it gave me an inside look of Americana, but from the people's take, not from the outside look. I come from New York, born and raised in New York, and in my travels throughout the world, also with Brian Hardgroove, my good friend, who was very instrumental in bringing me here today. And being world travelers as we are, we have many discussions over making parallels between towns and cities and even countries. And we often look at ourselves and ask the question like, wow, we never thought we'd see a time where people will actually beg for the microchip. Beg for Big Brother to lead them and control them and ask for a corporation to save their souls. Now, how do you sell soul to a soulless people who sold their souls? You don't sell soul. Culture is that beautiful thing that unites human beings, the one race on this planet, together by our similarities and knocks the differences to the side. Underneath culture could come talk, music, and I also like to thank everybody who actually showed up that night when we played the last event at Alegria. It's a cultural thing that should be in the air to grab a hold on and attach to your soul as being a good piece of nutrition. It's always meant that I can turn it on and get something that would feed me. Once you have a corporation that consolidates stations, TV stations, or even the danger that we think the web is free, well, if you ain't got electricity or you can't go to a spot or a hot spot or whatever, you can't get onto that either. That's a danger. So the thing about, listening to the voices of people to represent people is very important, because when you hear a voice that has no soul and is only worried about how much money they're going to get at the end of the week, at the end of the day, how can it speak to the masses of us that are pretty much being carted into an area where we can't even own our own minds, our souls, our own thoughts? Newspapers shouldn't be consolidated. Radio stations and television stations, if they reflect New York and LA mentality, you understand in this country, New York and LA and also the DC Beltway, everybody else in between, their value is only as a consumer. And the beauty about being here in Santa Fe is that the individualism and the connection of this market of people being attached to people, being able to talk to each other for a just cause, that's what it's all about. The rest of this nation has to reflect on what's happening in smaller, quote-unquote, markets. I hate to say smaller markets because I sound like some promotional idiot. But when people are in a smaller setting, you have a name-to-name, a first-name basis type of thing going on. It isn't the company, and I work for the company, and there's 7 million people that work for this company, and therefore you're just a number, or a name, or a status that's lower than the other. We don't want to see schools be consolidated under a corporation. Oh, go to the University of Coca-Cola. What do you think, what end product do you think is going to come up out of that? So I respect the fact that 1015 is hanging on to the fact that it has to be the prototype for resistance to keep Big Brother from just holding a palm over its head. It has to be. And as I say, it's a pride and joy for me to come here and also my connection through Ellie and also Brian. This is an honor for me to go to as many places as possible and tell people that, hey, it's in you. It's in you to actually say, nah, I don't like this. I like the fact that I have somebody talking to me that knows where I live, knows how I feel, knows who I want to support, knows where I want to eat. You know, in this country right about now, the fact that we have an eeny, meeny, miny, mo type voting process is terrible. It's like either this or either that. And then you got the choice. You have in the presidential selection, you have the choice to choose either or. And as we're looking at this, the rest of this world, the rest of this planet is, you know, is getting away from how this country looks at its governing of people. And that just comes on a face-to-face basis. It's about people. And it's only about one planet. We can't like all of a sudden just put the card in and say, you know what, forget how this place is run, I'm gonna go somewhere else. That's how corporations would want you to think, that there's another planet out there that they got, you know, available to you with Visa or MasterCard availability and access for you to go. So to make a long story short, continue your fight, because this fight is symbolic to be followed by many